how are you? I hope you're good. Slightly giggling because this is the second time I'm filming this because the first time was all out of focus. So currently I have a piece of tape on on my carpet so I know where to stand. I hope you're good and I hope you're all ready for April because that is soon. Today I'm here to share with you my magical TBR for the O.W.L.s 2019. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link the announcement video down below and maybe if I remember suggest it here so you can check that out and hopefully join us. We would really love to have you because this community is just so fantastically positive and just really amazing. I might be a little bit biased, but I think it's amazing. Tiny apology if I sound stuffy, I feel a bit stuffy, so that is why. I will continue the video as if you know what I'm talking about, so if you don't, please go check that video out first before watching this. First of all, I will say that I have selected my career from the careers guide. Contrary to a popular belief, I actually did not select my career when I was making the guidebook. I had sat down afterwards and looked at them and was like, what currently speaks to me, because obviously I'm gonna be doing something else next year. But after a couple of days of consideration, because I clearly take this very seriously, I have decided to go with a curse breaker. So curse breaker is the career of my choice for 2019 magical readathon. Let me know what yours is down below. But for that one, for the O.W.L.s required, I need to sit my ancient runes exam, arithmancy, charms, defense against dark arts, potions, and transfiguration. So that is 6 exams in total. Similarly to a lot of you guys, I have selected all 12 of the reads for all of the subjects, but I will treat these particular ones as priority. Actually, I haven't been reading an awful lot this year. I just found my headspace not really entirely there with the reading, so I don't know if I will be able to do all 12. A lot of them, by the way, are comics and mangas because no way could I fulfill like 12 books with my reading habits and my reading speed, which is totally fine. As I said, anything that counts on Goodreads counts for this readathon. I'm speaking in circles here, but what I wanted to say is that I will put all of my energy into completing those 6 so I can pursue my career as a curse breaker. However, if I have time for any of the extra ones, that will just be a cherry on top, and if I do all 12, then that would be amazing, but if not, that's not a biggie either. I am here today to basically share to you what I picked for my TBR, and I have them all here, and I'm gonna go through them, first of all naming the 6 that I that I need, and then we'll go through and fill in the gaps with all of the extra ones. So this year for Ancient Runes we are looking for a retelling, and I have decided to go with A Curse So Dark and Lonely. This is a retelling of our classic Beauty and the Beast. A lot of these books I don't know too much about because that is why I basically don't do like dedicated TBR videos, because I like to know enough, like a little, like a theme around the book, but I do not like to know a lot, and I do not really usually read synopsis because I find them misleading and sometimes spoilery, so if I can help it, I will avoid it. This is not the shortest of books, this is like close to 500 pages, so maybe not the best for the readathon for a slower to medium reader. But whenever I open a page, it looks filled with dialogue. I love that. I find that I fly through those books, and I know a lot of people have loved this book and also said that they couldn't put it down, which is exactly a quality I'm looking for in the book for a readathon. I am especially slow with description-heavy books, and sometimes I just really take my time with those. So a book filled with dialogue seems like a good choice, and I'm excited to delve into it. Plus I heard so many good things from you guys about this retelling, so I'm very excited. For arithmancy we need a book with at least 2 authors or creators. A lot of you guys asked if a comic counts, and I sure hope so, because that's what I picked. But yes, it does. I am going with a Rick and Morty meets D&D. I can't remember how it's called, but I will pop it right here. Comic, I do have this on Kindle because it was very cheap for a comic, and also the hardcover, well, the paper copy said it's gonna arrive in like 3 to 4 weeks, and I was like, that's a bit long. Not only is this a Rick and Morty comic, which me and Logan are really big fans of, the humor, the sense of humor in there, but this is also in collaboration with Patrick Rothfuss, which you might know as one of my absolute all-time favorite authors. So I'm very excited about that one, and also D&D, I'm into that. So overall, really excited for this one. I'm excited to sort of use it when I need something cheerful, which might be the case after my Charms read, which is The Silent Patient. This is a psychological thriller about a woman who has otherwise been really stable and didn't really show any signs of aggression, and then she goes ahead and shoots her husband 5 times in the face, which is not something you forget after reading the synopsis. It's just one of those things that stays with you. And then she's paired with a criminal psychotherapist who is trying to figure out what has happened, and she's also silent, so she stops talking after the crime she commits. And obviously this is a thriller, and it's blurbed by Blake Crouch, who is the author of Dark Matter, which is one of my absolute favorite books and one of those that I couldn't put down. And a lot of reviews on Goodreads said that it's just one of the most mind-blowing twists and reveals of literature as we know it. So I am so excited, and this is the book that I have 2 extra days from the extra credit readathon, so I can get to this earlier than the other books, but I'm just so excited. I really hope it's gonna be one of those books that I just sit. Sorry, it's a cloudy day, so it's gonna be all over the place, but hopefully it'll be one of those that I read into the night and just cannot put down until I know what the hell is up. Prompt was read an adult book, and this is an adult book. For Defense Against the Dark Arts, it was READATHON, which is a title that starts with the letter R. And I have gone with volume 3 of the comic that I really like, and that is Rat Queens. It has been a minute since I read the second one, but I'm very excited to delve back into the universe. This is basically about a female group of misfits that really don't care about any social norms, and they just go around kicking ass, and it's pretty hilarious, but also sometimes dips its toes in some more serious topics, and I just want to see what the 3rd volume has for us. So that is my Defense Against the Dark Arts. Plus, as an added bonus, they do fight evil, so it just seems like very fitting for the prompt. Another comic that I have is one for potions, which is Read a Sequel. This is another volume 3 of Monstrous. This is a comic that I really love art style of. The plot is okay, it can get a little bit like muddy and not entirely clear, but it basically focuses around a girl who has this goddess inside of her that sometimes manifests into a physical world and then it wreaks havoc and is very murderous, and she's trying to figure out how did she become what she is and if she is a monster. And it also deals with a lot of themes like betrayal and racism in the world that this is set in, but the art style is just like, it takes my breath away, quite literally, just so bloody beautiful. Like, look at that. Oh, it's just, I personally really love it. So I'm very excited to go into this, and I also really need to get on it because it's been, again, a while since I read the second one, and I had this from back in Christmas, but I was waiting for a readathon to get to this, but I really need to, otherwise I will forget what has happened before and then I'll need to reread it. But very excited to see where the story takes us, and this is my potions book. Now, the book for Transfiguration is where my too much gene comes out a little bit. So even though I personally wrote the prompts for this readathon, I did not, and this is like your proof that I never set them to like profit me or like to suit me. I set them so they are true to the theme. So when I realized that we have a live stream, like our quarterly live stream for this particular book, and I need to have read that by the 27th of April, and it doesn't fit into my like priority TBR, I was like, well, welp. Then I realized the US cover is mainly red, so I could use that, but no. Now I went a step further. So basically this is a book for Transfiguration, and it can either have a red cover, which this doesn't, it's brown, it's just a shade of red, but, or have sprayed edges. So it doesn't naturally come with sprayed edges, but I spray them myself. I mean, It fits the prompt now, does it not? So this is an Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which I know nothing about, yet have this really extreme feeling of this is gonna be my new favorite book. I don't have that feeling, like, ever. I don't know why, but it's just really odd to me. I just have this feeling that this is gonna be my next favorite book. I don't know why, but I hope it's right, but I have no absolutely no reason to believe that. But I believe this is about a girl who goes undercover to rescue her brother who is set for an execution. Other than that, I know zilch about this, yet I have the highest of expectations for it, so I suppose wish me luck. But anyway, this is now my Transfiguration read, and I painted the pages yellow with acrylic paint, if you're wondering. Then I spent an episode of charms worth of separating the pages, but it's worth it, it's worth it, it's fine. So this is my priority TBR. Now I'm gonna move on to what else I have to read if I have time. The first one is astronomy, which is star in the title. This one is actually kind of funny because Jade was asking if Zodiac Star Force comic volume number 2 fits in it, and I said, like, of course. And I was like, also, is the first one good? Because I also don't have a book for this. So I am reading that one and hopefully I like it. So we shall just wait for the vlog and find out, because I will be vlogging my experience, of course, as I always do, so hooray. For Care of Magical Creatures, there was supposed to be a land animal on the cover, and this is actually a graphic novel that I have had in my possession since it was basically one of the earliest books to go on my shelves. So, and I still haven't read it, and I don't know why. I also didn't know anything about this when I picked it up. I picked this up at a Comic-Con years ago, and it just like spoke to me, and also was on sale. But now that it fit the prompt, I looked at it, and it was like Patrick Rothfuss has rated it and called it something like most like hard-hitting novels or something like that, and I was like, oh, well, fair go. I really am looking forward to this. Now, slightly scared, but very looking forward to it. And this is Day Tripper by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. Like, some people say the most engaging story I've ever read. Whimsical, professional, and hauntingly charming in all the best ways. Down-to-earth slice of life. I'm so intrigued all of a sudden after all these years. Maybe, you know, some books, maybe they just wait for their cue to enter your life, and maybe that's the best time to let them in, because maybe there's a reason why I haven't read that before now. And it has a little dog, so this is my Care of Magical Creatures book. For Divination, which is a book set in the future, I have yet another comic book. But this is The Sender, volume 3, I believe. I do not have it yet, but I will. Sender was a comic book that was recommended by one of you guys, and also really became one of my favorite ones. I just really enjoy the storyline and the world universe where like giant metal things land on the planet, and we wake up many years later in the head of this robot boy who was basically created to be a friend to a young school-going kid, but he's all alone and all confused, and there's various parties now pursuing him because he seems to have the same code as the massive giant things that attacked. This is gonna be my third one. I'm very looking forward to it, see where the story goes, and it's very futuristic, so I felt like it fit the prompt. For Herbology, I'm gonna go with something that I'm very interested in, obviously. I've been seeing this specifically in like readathon TBRs. This is Every Heart a Doorway, and it apparently is like a series of short novellas of life after your magical adventure type of thing. So, you know, when kids like Alice in Wonderland go into some sort of wonderland and then come back, and how are they sort of adapting to life afterwards. And I love it. I don't know why I still haven't read it. I really hope I like it, because I've heard some mixed reviews, heard someone say that it's a better idea than the way it was executed. I think it was read by Zoe who said that. So I'm very like nervous about that, but I'm also really excited because one of the things that I really wanted to write is a story that is centered around rehabilitation, because I don't think that this is a topic that is addressed all that often, although that was a very personal story of a member of my family, so it's very much of a pin on there, and I do not think I'm ready to write that. Rehabilitation was always a very, very big theme in my personal life, so I'm very keen on themes like that, and I'm really excited to read this. And again, we'll see in my vlog if I like it or not, or if I get to it, because obviously it's an extra one. But that cover has obviously like a forest, so definitely has plants. Now, normally I am very much a mood reader, and I will set myself a very loose TBR other than doing these readathons, but even in this one I just allowed myself 2 books on this prompt just to see how I feel. They're both very similar. So those 2 are for History of Magic, which is books published at least 10 years ago. So I have 2 similar yet very different books. So we have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and also Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. So this one is very sort of whimsical, nonsensical, very humorous, like a very specific kind of humor of a guy who gets like abducted from Earth, and it has very silly themes in it, but it's also like a sci-fi. Same as this one, this is a futuristic sci-fi about androids, and as far as I know, this is like the vibe of, I haven't seen the movie yet because this is for Blade Runner, but I'm making it a point to read this before I see either of the movies. I see like the theme being like Detroit Become Human game, which is all of my jazz. I really like that, and this comes very highly recommended. Obviously it's gonna be more of a philosophical, what is sentient being, what counts as life. I'm assuming this is a bit more serious than this. This would technically be a reread for me, but it's been so long I honestly don't remember a thing. But depending on my mood, if I want something a bit more fun or if I want something a bit more philosophical, I'll pick one if I get to it, but this is probably gonna be fairly low on the list. And then last but not least, we have Muggle Studies, that is a contemporary. So basically something set in like our modern world. And I actually have a manga for this one. This was in my Charms Extra Credit TBR, but I never got to it. But this is I Hear the Sunspot, Theory of Happiness, which is the second one to I Hear the Sunspot, which is a story about a guy who has hearing difficulties and needs a person who will write university notes or take university notes for him, and he hires this guy who is really struggling with his finances and basically ends up bringing him lunch and developing a really deep friendship with him, and it's just the most heartwarming thing ever. I'm really looking forward to reading the second one of this. It's a friendship with hints of something more, but both of them being very insecure about it. It's very unknown territory. I'm just thinking about it, it makes me like really warm in my heart, so I'm really excited to read the second one. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much sums it up. So let me know if you have any of the books from my TBR in your TBR, so if we're gonna read the same thing. And if not, what is one book out of your TBR that you have like the most hope for, or the one that you think is gonna be your favorite? So chat to me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is in focus, because if not, we'll just go with it. Don't forget to start early if you have any extra credit for your Charms read, and if not, we all will meet up on 1st of April. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye!